So welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. We're a spiritual community that practices metaphysics and New Thought teaching, which is that there is only one power, and that power doesn't matter what you call it, but as long as you call it, you experience more and more of it. And that is through the experience of spiritual law manifesting form in our lives. We come together as a community every Sunday morning and throughout the week to do just that, to be in community with each other, to honor that power that exists within us, that is a non-denominational power, if you will. And we come together to honor all expressions of life, all sizes, all colors, all ages, all cultures, all sexes, all sexual orientations, all beliefs, all types of people. Anyone and everyone we invite in here and honor them on their path as long as they're not looking to be manipulative or destructive towards other aspects of life. But we welcome and celebrate everyone here in this space and honor them on their journey of self-awakening, finding their spiritual power on this journey. So as our wonderful Dr. Walker used to say with us, the founder of this community, welcome one and welcome all. We want to say a big hello to those of you that are here for the first time. If you're here for the first time, we welcome you. We're not the type of community to ask you to stand up and say why you came here. We're not going to put a rose behind your ear, any of that stuff. We're just going to say we welcome you. We hope that you feel safe and comfortable in this environment and that you're on the journey of healing or acknowledging your power or finding out who you are, whatever the case may be. As well as we want to honor those that are watching us online. So let's give a shout out to those that are watching us online, either live or later. Everyone's turning and looking because the camera is up there above the word shall. So once again, welcome one and welcome all. We open our service every Sunday morning with a ritual. Other than last Sunday's, because we were celebrating World AIDS Day, it's fairly the same. This Sunday we revert back to the qualities of the divine as per our metaphysical teachers. And so this ritual is one that is a call and response. Our practitioner of the day will take us through that once the musicians take us into song. And then after that, you have the opportunity to do a call and response song, sing along. Everyone, that's Angel in the back, our youngest congregant that's cooing with us. Angel, applause, love it, enjoy it. So, okay, Angel, up here. I know I took it to you, but focus on me. What does they say about working with animals and children? Never do it, right? So, it'll be pretty self-explanatory. So our practitioner of the day is the assistant minister here, Reverend Edward Brown. We'd like to invite him to the bema. We're so happy to have him back with us today, being fully agile and mobile. And the illuminator today of our candles is the president of our board of trustees, Dr. Sheila Hughes. We'd like to welcome her up. And I will get out of the way, and we'll let the bishop take away.
Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love, calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light of love.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I always said I never wanted to be in the pulpit with a walking cane, but I never said a walker. So welcome to this ritual this morning, calling the light. Today we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges all people and all faiths come from the one abiding presence which we call spirit. The purpose of this ritual is to draw into our gathering this morning a conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we possess as complete expressions of the divine. As Sheila lights the first candle, which is representative of peace. In this way, we honor our inherited right to the peace of God that passes all other understanding, the perfect peace that we are. The second candle is lit for the purpose of power, that power that we are, the one power, the one life, the power we acknowledge as the energy by which everything exists, everything. As Sheila lights the third candle for beauty, the beauty that resides within each and every one of us, a personal expression by which the high spiritual qualities are made manifest. The fourth candle is lit for joy. We light the fourth candle knowing that the state of being that we call joy is ours to express, the joy of God that goes forth from us into the world. The fifth candle is lit for light. That light, the symbol of the divine intelligence, the light of God that shines forth from each and every one of us. The sixth candle is lit for life, the perfect life that we are, that which is defined as the animating principle of being, our being, the being of life that we are, that inner something that makes everything live. The seventh candle is lit for the quality of love, the love of God, the unconditional love of God that passes all other understanding. We are love in action, and that is what we are. The eighth candle is lit for the power of wisdom, the concept, the unity of manifest, the mystical secret of the ages, the key to wisdom, the wisdom that we understand to be wisdom. As Sheila lights the ninth candle, which we call the healing candle, let us think of someone that we know that needs a healing. Bring them into our experience this moment, into our eyes, our center eye, and see that person as perfect, whole, and a healing is manifest this moment.
Repeat after us, please. I am
love, I am peace in my heart, I am free, I am spirit,
I am soul. All together we are whole. Calling in the light, calling in the light, calling in the light
of love, calling
in the light, calling in the light, calling in the
light of love,
calling in the light.
of love.
And so it is, and so it is, and so it is.
Join with me in a spiritual mind treatment, knowing that there's only one life, one power, one presence, God. And we are each an individualization of that one, expressing at our level of awareness of the power, of the presence, of the light, of the peace, of the love of God. We know that we are one with this idea, this moment, and we let it be so. Today, we move forward in this place, in this consciousness of knowing that we are a complete expression of life, a complete expression of all that there is for the fulfillment of divine essence of our beingness. We move forward into this service knowing that it is a beacon light into the city of Los Angeles, radiating perfect love, perfect joy, perfect peace, for we are that in action as us. Today we bless every individual that has entered these doors this day, knowing that they are right here by the right of their own consciousness. We bless our minister, knowing that he is the perfect person for us at this moment. We bless all the volunteers, all the practitioners, and every person that moved forward in this idea of making this a wonderful experience. We bless our musicians, knowing that they are sharing with us their talent of love, of beauty, of joy, and we bless them for that. For we move forward in this idea of knowing that the Los Angeles Center for Spiritual Living is, always will be, the place of perfect love, perfect joy, perfect being. And we give thanks for this idea, knowing that it is done this moment. It is right. It is perfect. And together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Edward and Dr. Sheila. Did you notice how the One Mind of Life color coordinated Reverend Edward and Dr. Sheila? If there is a God, it's all about fashion, right? No, it's not. But speaking of God, Reverend Edward used that that God, I like that, God Edward Bell. Speaking of God, there's some new faces in here today, meaning not older people with a new face, meaning people we haven't seen before. All been there. It's going to be that kind of Sunday, better than all crying like last Sunday, right? But that was good too. But when we speak of God in this philosophy and teaching, we're not speaking of some power that is outside of us, some deity that sits in a chair in the sky that's waiting to dispense your good or take it away from you. We're speaking of an omnipresent and all-inclusive power that is impersonal. It's an energy, if you will, that gives force to life itself. And it individualizes itself through each of us. And we both experience it and express it through our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions and our reactions and our interactions with life itself. That's a result of the spiritual laws of the universe. So I thought I would give you a quick cursory on the teachings of metaphysics and science of mind before we move forward, so you have that. I could teach this stuff, right? If I could do that quick. I did this. So, all right. Well, I can teach it, and we're starting a new class on practical mysticism, January 10th. Students in the back, right? So if you want to learn how to go deep into the darkness today, I'm going to talk about the balance of darkness and light in my message. Put on your calendar 7:30, January, what did I say, 10th? January 10th. Then it'll be an 8, possibly 10-week class. Every time we say 8, and it runs for 10 weeks. So it's because we're enjoying it so much. All right. So everyone had a good week, right? Everyone had a good week, right? We're all here. We all survived the fires, right? I know that some of us have had some transition in life itself, but that's the nature of life. But we're all here, and we're breathing on our own, and we're experiencing life, and we're about to experience what was just referred to as the qualities of the divine, as beauty and joy, and we're going to do that through the expression of music of these three beloveds. So I welcome back to the Bema, Leah, Yaron, and Guy.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What you'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare to pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare to pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
Leah Ziegert with You're Wrong and God. Does anyone know what song that musical is from? I set her up. Once again, I'm her straight man. I love it. It is, and if you haven't seen the clip on YouTube of that song, of the most recent remake of that movie, or any for that matter, check it out. It really speaks to what we teach here, which is that if you want your life to look different, then focus on your imagination. Use your imagination to create that which you desire to experience. And by focusing on that and having faith, trusting that the law of life will bring forth that experience, it will do so. So can you believe it? The holiday season is among us. You sound so excited. Oy vey, the holiday season is among us. It's here, right? So how do we know it's here? We know it's here because everywhere we look, there are lights popping up, right? They're on cars and on trees and on hedges and on houses. So how did that begin? Does everybody have their lights up if you're putting them up? My neighbor got up in my face with his dog the other day and said, "It's time for you to put your lights up." I guess I'm the one that started that trend on my street. And I put this wall of red lights up over the hedges. And so now others are doing it, and I decided, not really into it this year. And he goes, "You have to." And so I said to him, "I've decided that I'm going to let my inner light illuminate the street." And with that, his dog lifted his leg, and he scurried off. So I decided to not do that, but who knows, right? I can use my imagination and think it's an easy process and do it. So holiday Christmas lights. For Christmas itself, electric Christmas lights began in 1880. Thomas Edison put them on trees to heighten the Yuletide experience. Does it heighten your Yuletide experience? Good, I like that. So come together, let's say Thursday at 2 o'clock as a unit, and you can put my lights up. And you can heighten your Yuletide and my Yuletide and your Yuletide experience when you're out walking your dogs down my street. I love it. But it was in the 12th century that was actually the first recording of lighting the Yule log for the celebration purpose of heightening a Yuletide experience. That wasn't done specifically for the purpose of decoration. It was done to not only just illuminate the environment, to also create heat. Prior to that, any light or lighting of anything, prior to that, as I said, during the Christmas season, was to acknowledge and honor the miracle of the birth of Christ. Now, many of us could sit and argue for, I'm sure, way beyond 30 minutes or 30 days, whether or not that indeed was a miracle. But we'll let that go for the moment. It's important for us to look at the concept of a miracle, unlike that which is unexplainable in many traditional religions, but to use the premise as defined in A Course in Miracles. A miracle is the ability to change your thinking and then to do so. In other words, it's a new perspective in regards to whatever is going on in life. And that oftentimes we require that new perspective because the experiences that we're having in life are not bringing us the qualities that we define that exist within us as defined beings. I address them every Sunday, and we do in our ritual, and I'll do it really quickly: peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom. So if we're having life experiences that are not reflecting those, on events or ideas or beliefs, then we have the opportunity to change our thinking, and in so doing, eventually change our life. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what a miracle is. This morning, the title of my message is this: Let Your Light Shine, one flicker at a time. Why do I say one flicker at a time? Because sometimes I think, and certainly in this time of year, it can be overwhelming for us to think that it is our responsibility to let our light shine out into the universe, that it's our responsibility to bring forth that burning candle that is within and illuminate the path before us. And yet, inasmuch as that still is what we are all being called to do every day, not just simply during the holidays, but sometimes all we can muster is one flicker at a time. Would you agree? But it's important for us to know that that flicker multiplies into another flicker, and before we know it, it's a flicker upon a flicker upon a flicker upon a flicker. And we are indeed illuminating the pathway that is before us. Let your light shine, one flicker at a time. Now, what made me or prompted me to start thinking about the message that I wanted to share with you this Sunday was out walking the evening and looking at the miraculous moon that was before us. Now, yes, the super moon, and how impressive the super moon is, right? But what's important for us to know is the moon didn't change. The truth is the moon's never changed. The moon is the moon, just like you are the divine, fully expressed as you are. It hasn't changed. However, there are times in our life that we are more illuminous, like the moon was the other night. But what's important to know about the moon, just like us, is that we aren't shining the light that is within us. The moon is reflecting the light of the sun. We, ladies and gentlemen, in expressions of spirit, are reflecting the light of the divine that exists. Illuminate that path before us. And the thing is about the moon is we see it in all of its magnificence and its glory. But it's important for us to know that even though it's shining very, very brightly as it did this week, it's only reflecting between 3 and 12% of the sunlight that hits it. Now, what I think the reason it's important for us to know that is that oftentimes in life we think that we have to have this bright light that's shining before us. All of this power of the divine, which is the metaphor for the light that is shining upon us and through us, that we should shine all of that out before us. That is our responsibility as metaphysicians, and certainly practicing metaphysicians, that we're supposed to live with our light fully shining out into the world. And if we're not doing that, we are not awakened to who we are. But that's really not our responsibility. If we know that we are here to let our flicker out into the world one flicker at a time, then all that we are to focus on is that one flicker. And then the next, and then the next, and then the next. Knowing that as long as we do that and express it in its glory as much as we can by means of who we are, that the light itself, much like the sun, is never going to diminish. And there are going to be moments in our life that we are going to shine just like the supermoon, and there are going to be moments in our life where we are not. It looks like we're receding, and there's small components of the light that we're shining. But it's important for us to know that the light itself never changes. So today, my goal and my purpose and my intention and my objective with you is to awaken within you a new responsibility of letting your light shine out into the world, of taking the journey of life that you've been on both chronologically and experientially and through your spiritual awakening, and have a sense of gratitude for every single thing that brought us to this very moment. Because the truth is, all that we have is this very moment. And the minute this moment passes, then we have the next, and the next, and the next. And to not live in a place of what was or what is to be, but to be consciously awake and aware of that which is, and choose to be the miracle worker on the pathway of our life. In this beautiful room that we're in the space that we share this week, our beloved soul sisters and brothers are about to begin celebrating Hanukkah. I'm sure there's some practice to Hanukkah as well. Has anybody in here been a Hanukkah experience here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you would know it can be a practice, right? It's about lighting the candles, which is an 8-day process of the Festival of Lights. But the Hebrew word Hanukkah means dedication, and thus named this because it celebrates the rededication of the Holy Temple. It was in the 2nd century BCE, the Holy Land was ruled by the Syrians and the Greeks, who tried to force the people of Israel to accept Greek culture and beliefs instead of mitzvah observance and believe in the divine, also known as God. Against all odds, a small band of faithful Jews led by Judah the Maccabi defeated one of the mightiest armies on earth, drove the Greeks from the land, and reclaimed the Holy Temple in Jerusalem and rededicated it to the service of their power that they call God. When they sought to light the temple's menorah, the 7-branched candelabrum, which many of you have seen, I have as well, many of you may have one, they found only a single cruse of olive oil that had escaped contamination by the Greeks. But miraculously, even with this one single cruse of oil, they lit the menorah thinking it would only last for 1 day, and it lasted for 8 days, until new oil could be prepared under conditions of ritual purity. What that spoke to is the miracle of life itself. That so often what we see before us is really not what's going on. What's going on is that there is an infinite supply waiting for us to call it forth to express that. In this particular story, that was what appeared to be an infinite supply of oil. But what that speaks to is that infinite supply of light, or that infinite supply of life, or that infinite supply of joy, or peace, or power, or beauty, or wisdom. It's all there within us, waiting to be called forth through our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions and our reactions. It doesn't mean that the conditions and the circumstances of life don't happen. It means that as each and every circumstance and condition of life happens, it's our responsibility, should we desire to experience those qualities of the divine, to take responsibility for our actions, thoughts, beliefs, and reactions and interactions. We do that by shining our light from the inside out. It's not a new concept. In the King James Version of the Bible, in Matthew 5:16, this is written, "Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." Now, we're not looking at this in the traditional religious sense, that particular scripture. We look at it from a metaphysical sense, which is what we practice here. It is, let your light shine before all sentient beings, for all of life itself, so that they may not just see your good works, but so that they experience who you are as a divine being, and expressing your divinity by means of your humanity. In other words, your actions, the way that you show up and carry yourself and give of who you are in the world. And in so doing, you glorify your Father which is in heaven. That is not a deity, once again, sitting outside of you in the sky. It's that divinity that exists within, Christ that exists within. And in so doing, you know that it then exists because you experience it as those qualities of the divine. In other words, by giving of who you are, letting your light shine, expressing goodness, greatness, divinity before you, the law of life responds and brings back to you experiences that reflect who you are inherently. So why then is it important for us to let our light shine? It's important for us to let our light shine because in so doing, we are then expressing those good deeds. It's because in so doing, we are engaging that miracle that I spoke of earlier. It's because in so doing, we're creating a shift in our thinking and, in essence, creating a shift in the experience of life itself. Ultimately, it's important for us to do that because what we're doing is making a difference in life itself. Now, personally, I think that that's what these holidays are all about. It's about remembering that there is that deep within us, that Christ consciousness that exists within us, that ability to tap into a miracle, to know that there's this light that's going to shine through us no matter what darkness we may be experiencing in life. And just this simple time of year is simply to remind us that we have that within us waiting to be called forth. And if we're not doing it in a way that brings us peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom, to immediately forgive ourselves and start anew. It's important for us to know that as we walk through the maze of human life, that stuff may come up. And in so doing, there is that within us, which we call wisdom, that can be called forth. The Buddha addresses it in this way. Just as treasures are uncovered from the earth, so virtue appears from good deeds, and wisdom appears from a pure and peaceful mind. To walk safely through the maze of human life, one needs the light of wisdom and the guidance of virtue. To walk safely through the maze of human life, one needs the light of wisdom and the guidance of virtue. Now, would you guys all agree that the human life that we walk through oftentimes feels like a maze? And what is a maze? A maze is a circuitous journey trying to find our way out. Now, the maze of human life that we're talking about here isn't trying to get to some destination in physical form. The maze of human life that's being addressed here is finding that place of knowing that we are peaceful, that we are powerful, we are beautiful, we are joyful, and that within us the Christ consciousness exists, meaning the purity of life itself. But the key is to unearth those. And for us to do that is allowing the light of wisdom, which exists within us, to rise up and be expressed through us, and the guidance of virtue. Well, what is the guidance of virtue in that moment, if you will? It's just simply letting ourselves live a life of giving those good deeds that we spoke of earlier. And so oftentimes in the holiday season, we get caught up on what those good deeds should look like. But the key is don't do that this holiday season. Let yourself free to just simply live your life. I was texting with someone yesterday who was saying, I just simply hate to have to go do and fill in the blank responsibilities that they had for that evening. And I said to this individual, then don't do it. And he could not understand that concept. Through guilt, he was like, I have to do it. Through the sense of self-responsibility, I have to do it. And I said, if it doesn't bring you joy, then say no. Don't say no in an accusatory way. Say no, because in so doing, you have faith that the law of life will respond. It will respond and bring forth through you an experience of life that is equal. But so oftentimes on the pathway of life itself, we forget that the light is there. There's a great writing by Mabel Collins that's called The Light on the Path that I'd like to read that I think addresses this. And it's this: For within you is the light of the world, the only light that can be shed upon the path. If you're unable to perceive it within you, it is useless to look for it elsewhere. It is beyond you, because when you reach it, you have lost yourself. Not meaning yourself as a divine being or human, but you've lost yourself on the journey because you're moving in that place of blackness, if you will, where the light seems to not exist, but it's there at all times, because what she goes on to write is, you'll enter the light, but you'll never touch the flame. What she's speaking of there is that in this darkness of seeking the perfection of light, oftentimes we won't find that flame because it is infinite and it appears to be unable to grasp, if you will. But it's always there. It's always there because it itself is infinite at all times. But our journey of self-awakening is to stay on the path and to stay awake and to stay alert and to stay engaged. Martin Luther King tells us that darkness itself cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. If you're experiencing darkness on your journey of finding light on your pathway, it's important to know that it's okay. That's a part of life which sometimes can be death or destruction or war or fill in the blank. We've talked about before that the only way to know that darkness exists is because we know that light exists. The only way that success can exist is because failure exists. We live in a world of the yin and yang at all times, but that doesn't change the spiritual truth that the only thing that's ever taking place is the one thing. It's important to know that your light, just like mine, can never be dimmed. Maya Angelou tells us that nothing can dim the light which shines from within. No matter what you may be going through today, know that nothing can indeed dim your light. However, it doesn't mean that the journey into the darkness isn't one where it's worth it. It doesn't mean that you're not unearthing that in life where you will find joy and you will find treasures on that journey. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross says that people are like stained glass windows. They sparkle and they shine when the sun is out, but when the darkness sets in, their true beauty is revealed only if there is a light from within. The light is always there. And on our spiritual awakening, sometimes darkness is there and sometimes we're in tune with light, but the key is to stay on the pathway. Go into yourself and see how deep the place is in search of finding your divinity, Rainer Maria Rilke writes. I love this concept because she's saying that no matter where we're at on the journey, it's important to continue going deeper and deeper and deeper. You oftentimes hear me talk about that on our journey of personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, it's not a journey here in the mind where we've oftentimes been taught, and we believe that the mind is here. Actually, it's about right here. No, I'm just kidding. Right here. But it's one of the soul. It's one of going deeper and deeper and deeper into your soul. I like to explain in my teaching that the soul resides somewhere right here around the belly button. It's about going deeper and deeper in that process, which would be dark if you're going there in life itself. Right? And go through that darkness and see what it is that you can unearth. And in so doing, then take the light of life and shine it upon you. I did a writing years ago that talks about the concept of understanding that darkness and light is still backed by the spiritual truth that it's all God and God is all there is. And I want to read it to you if I can find it. Recently, I watched an interview with the acclaimed film director James Cameron. We all know him from his films Avatar and Titanic. In addition to being a filmmaker, his passion is deep sea exploration. He was discussing his recent exploration using a newly designed submarine that takes the individuals on board deeper than ever before. He was questioned as to what was found. He responded by saying they witnessed forms of life that had never been observed before. He went on to say that they were quite small and at times almost invisible to the eye. Do you think this deep sea life existed prior to being observed? Well, of course it did. And more than likely has existed for millions and millions of years. The analogy I want to present here is that as you and I go deeper and deeper within ourselves, we'll find aspects of life that we didn't know was there. However, it's always been there, just waiting for our exploration of it. This morning, I invite you to look inside your soul and continue to go deep and deep into that darkness of exploring the depths of your soul on your journey of personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And knowing that life itself is infinite, as is the light of the divine. And then as you come out of your soul on your human journey of walking the pathway of life itself, remember to let your unique individual light shine. Take a moment each and every day and ask yourself, what is it that I want to give to the world today? What is it that I want to give to the world during this holiday season? What is it that I want to give to the world during this time when there are so many people on our planet that has far less than I do? What is it that I want to give to the world, to any sentient being, no matter it three-legged, four-legged, or two-legged, that may have passed before me? What is it that I want to give? And then for a spiritual practice, as you move through the journey of life, when you see lights that are illuminated for this holiday season, whether it be on a candle or a menorah on a car or on a hedge or whatever the case may be, let it be a reminder to you to let your light shine. Because that which makes you unique and the light within you is worthy of shining and illuminating the world before you. You, ladies and gentlemen, matter. You matter, and the only way that we can experience that which makes you unique is by letting your unique light shine. Have a great Sunday and a great week. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm done, musicians. I think you're next. You're next. They were either back there totally immersed in what I was saying or playing solitaire on their iPads. Yeah. Okay. So they have a really fun song now for you.
Yeah, the hardest song ever.
Is it?
It's an ambitious one for sure, but in honor of Stevie Wonder playing tonight in Los Angeles, it's a Stevie Wonder tune called "Don't You Worry About a Thing," and I'm going to get you guys to sing with me at the end. Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah. Everybody's got a thing, but some don't know how to handle it. Always reaching out in vain, just taking the things not worth having. But don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing, mama. 'Cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it out. They say a style of life's a drag, and that you must go other places. Just don't you feel too bad when you get fooled by smiling faces. Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing, mama. 'Cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it Don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing. Yeah, everybody's got a thing, but some don't know how to handle it. Always reaching out in vain, just taking the things not worth having. But don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing, mama. 'Cause I'll be standing on the side when you check it Don't you worry about a thing.
Come on.
Don't you worry about a
Thing.
One more time. Don't you worry about a thing. Oh, na, 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 na. Ooh, don't you worry about a thing. Don't you worry about a thing.
And fantastic. Don't you worry about a thing. Alrighty, so now is the time for us to give of our financial good to our beloved home, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. It's called Conscious Giving. Sorry, I put a lozenge in my mouth. No jokes. Okay, sorry, now swallowing the lozenge. The way to give it is through cash, check, or you can give online. The way to give online is through our website at csl-la.org. Click on Home and Donate, or through our app in the App Store. And we appreciate all that you give and know that it's tax deductible. As well as for those of you that give through envelopes and cash or credit card, and you would like a report at the end of the year, please let us know that. I know that we no longer give out envelopes that have numbers on those. All right, so it's, we'll have our ushers come forward. And let's use our affirmation, please. Please repeat after me. Conscious giving heals all fear.
Heals all fear.
It awakens and enlivens my awareness
It awakens and enlivens my awareness.
that I am one with an abundant universe.
One with an abundant universe.
So today, I give with love
I give with love.
and know that I know, and know that I know that I know that I know. It absolutely returns to me, multiplied abundantly.
Multiply abundantly.
And so it is. Thank you.
This the gift to be simple, this the gift to be free, this the gift to come down to where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, to be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend, we shouldn't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right.
No percussion? Nothing. Oh. All right, some announcements for you all. If you would like to receive our weekly e-newsletter, there is a form that you can sign up and give to Reverend Edward at the hospitality table. Feel free to do that. If you're having challenges getting them, let us know. Also wanted to let you know that there's still the classes going on in West Hollywood, I believe, if you have interest in those at Plummer Park. I was over at Plummer Park yesterday. Wow, the renovation there is fantastic. Go check it out. But there are classes that are taking for, it's called Be Well WeHo. And there's flyers you can pick up for that. Also wanted to let you know that our Wednesday morning meditation is continuing. Sorry about not being able to do it this week. I was not well during that 8:30 window. Also, we're back to Tai Chi. Rachel's back, and she's well and happy and ready to guide us on that. We're happy to know you're back and healthy, Rachel. If you're open Wednesday morning between 11 and 12, we do Tai Chi in this room, and it's really fantastic in that. The toy drive. Today was the last day for the toy drive, but we've extended it to Thursday. So if you would like to bring either a $20 gift card to Best Buy or Target, is that correct? Or Target, right? Target, yeah, it's right here in front of me, I could read it. You would take those or an unwrapped toy for children or teenagers. Feel free to bring those. If you didn't bring them today and you would like to bring them, you can bring them here between 10:30 and 3:30 on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Well, Tuesday or Wednesday, and then Thursday they're being picked up at noon, I believe. Is that correct, Matt? Yes. Yes. The toys are going to LA Family Housing, and so they're distributing it to about 200 families. And last year we took about 215 toys, so it'd be great. We did that again. I thought you and Matt discussed all of that already. Yes, okay. So I just want to give you guys an update on the holiday schedule here. So we are doing our holiday service will be Christmas Eve morning, which is a Sunday here in the room, and then we will do a service New Year's Eve as well, which is also on Sunday here in the room. So nothing's changing schedule-wise for us. All right. Also want to remind you, as I said earlier, a class begins on January 10th. An 8 to 10 week class, and it's an accredited class for a practical guide to mysticism. I'm really looking forward to this class, and I'm going to take a compilation of different curriculum that's out there, much like I did our last class, and pull it together so it's a personal journey for each individual of going through some aspects of diving into mysticism. What that means is going deep into your soul. It's going to be some practices of going into your soul. It's going to be some practices of understanding some works about meditation. It's going to be looking at some of Dr. David Hawkins' work and understanding the field of consciousness and the vibrational aspects of that. So it's not going to be your typical come in and sit down and read the Science of Mind book class. It's going to be interactive, and which we find to be a lot more fun. Sherry, she's doing this to Angel, and it's throwing me off. And so, it's going to be a fun, engaging, practical aspect of mysticism. And if you want to know more about that, feel free to reach out to me, or you can Google mysticism. All right, any questions on that? A huge thank you to Reverend Lenore and John Allendorfer, I believe, for the holiday drive, and thank you for that. Also, a huge thank you to our musicians of the day. So we have Guy, Yaron, and Leah. We love having all three of you here. Our practitioner of the day, Reverend Edward Brown, who's upstairs counting mullah. And Dr. Sheila Hughes, our illuminator. Also, our board member on duty today is, I think it's Dr. Sheila. But we'll have someone in the back, so if there's a board member that you'd like to speak to and share any constructive criticism, we would be happy to receive that. A big thank you to Bob Zwolinski and Jesus Ernesto Reyes for setup today, as well as a big thank you to Erwin and Rolando, and a big thank you to all of you for being here today, for getting up on your Sunday morning and coming and sharing your light and your soul and your being here with us. Angel she can talk. Angel, sing, girl. Don't you worry about a thing. That's what she's doing. And it's Stevie Wonder and Andra Day and somebody else. I was just looking at it. It's good. Tonight. You want to go? All right, so let's close out and close with a spiritual mind treatment. Before I tell you that, there are flower products for consumables out back that you're welcome to chew on, as well as coffee and tea. Make yourself avail to that, getting to know each other in community. Also, I hope you guys all got my email about parking on La Brea. So the city screwed up. That's basically what happened. So we have that remedied and repaired. So parking is good. Confirmed by Angel. All right, let's close. Close your eyes if you feel compelled to do so. And as I speak this affirmative prayer known as a spiritual mind treatment, what I declare for each and every one of us is that today is the day that we've chosen to awaken ourselves to a new understanding and acceptance of the divine that exists within us. That in this moment, as we come together in mind, having just shared time together in human form, what I know for us is that whatever it is or was that we were seeking today to be awakened to has taken place. That there's somewhere deep within our soul that knows that it knows that it knows that there is only one activity ever taking place. It's the activity of life itself. And that the universe is here conspiring to experience and express good by means of each one of us. Today is the day that we open our heart and our mind and our soul in a way that allows us to give of ourselves to the universe and all aspects of it in a new way. Today is the day that we let go of any old ideology or belief system that doesn't let us know that we are enough just as we are. Today is the day that we bless all that have come before us, no matter the expression of their life form. We say thank you to all sentient beings, whether they be animal form, pet form, human form, forms that we've yet to define as we move about life, saying thank you for being here in our life when and you were. And we take the love that exists in our life and use it as a foundation from which we move forward, choosing to let our light shine today, one flicker at a time, choosing today to be a giver of the miracle of life itself. Today is the day that we forgive in an instant. And today is the day that we trust the law of life brings forth through us experiences that reflect our divinity. Today is the day that we simply know all is well. And so we covenant together as a community today to make a difference in that which is before us, which is life. We covenant and commit to ourselves to be attentive to our thinking and our actions and our beliefs, our reactions and our interactions with all of life. Today is the day that we know that good is being made manifest through us. And as a result, we don't worry about a thing, baby, because it is indeed all good as we let it unfold by saying together, and so it is, amen. Thank you. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy our closing song, and we'll see you outside.